This is a different kind of video. Um, I don't know why I'm telling you guys this. I usually keep I usually keep some of these stories private, but I was trying to think of what I could do for another video, and I started to think about high school for some reason, and there was something that happened to me that is worth sharing. I think because it's humorous now looking back on it, and I started to realize that I graduated high school almost 10 years ago, class of 2011. I can't believe it either. You know, once you get into your 20s, life just flies by. I don't know how that works, but it's just the way it is. So I'm going to share with you guys a story from high school that I think you guys are going to get a kick out of, because I get a kick out of it every now and then when I think about it. This is the story of how I asked out this girl to my senior prom. And it is a story of joy and pain at the same time. And to those out there watching this that know this story, yeah, you guys, yeah, you're going to have fun watching this because you know this story. So, I don't know if anybody I graduated high school with watches my YouTube channel. I know some people do, but I don't know if they'll remember that. Oh, maybe they will remember it. Who knows? But this is how I asked this girl out to the prom. So, here, this was incredible. So here we go. Okay. This was in, and by the way, this story also involves Dan and Mike from Heavy Duty. Okay, they were involved in this. Now, we were seniors in high school. This was in April of 2011. So this was 2 months before Heavy Duty went on the air. Okay, we weren't filming Heavy Duty yet, but this was like 2 months before it started up. So we had just finished doing our spring musical for our senior year on Sunday. On Monday, the entire class, we were all going down to Florida, because we're from New Jersey. We were all going down to Florida to Disney for our senior trip. And we were going to be there all week. And this had already been on my mind for a couple of weeks prior to this. And, you know, senior prom was coming up in 2 months, and the guys were already asking their dates out. And all the girls were they were all getting asked out, like left and right, okay? And there was one girl that I liked who shall remain anonymous, because I doubt she watches my YouTube channel, but I don't want to mention her name because I don't know if she wants to be mentioned here. But I liked this girl. You know, let's just say that. We weren't really friends. We were more like acquaintances, but I liked her, and I thought, let me ask her out. But I was nervous because I thought to myself, well, what if she's dating somebody? If she's already dating somebody, obviously she's going to go with him. And I found out from one of her friends that she hadn't been asked yet. And I thought, okay, this is good. This is good. So, finally, when our senior trip came up, I was trying to ask her, and here's the thing: a lot of the guys were asking their dates out. In fact, a couple of guys were doing this throughout our senior trip. They did it in the most, you know, I don't know what the word is, but like basically like a big show off, if I could say that. But it was like a proposal. It's a proposal. That's what it is, because it's for the prom. But for me, I was just gonna do the direct approach because I'm not that kind of guy. I don't do big outlandish stuff. I didn't know how. You know, I mean, at this point, I wasn't dating anybody, and I didn't have much luck dating. But that's another story. So. I was trying to ask this girl to the prom, and I didn't know how to do it. I figured, okay, direct approach. So throughout our senior trip, I'm trying to ask her to the prom, but I keep missing her. And her friend kept telling me, she's like, there she is right there. Go ask her. She can't say no. The only way she'll say no is if she already has a date. And she doesn't. So just do it. But, you know, I get nervous. It's just who I am. Even though I'm 100% sure she was going to say yes either way. So I said, no, I won't do it right now. I'll wait. And she goes, well, you better do it soon, because if one of the guys asks her, then that's it. It's over. So I said, I'll do it. I'll do it Thursday. Thursday I'll do it, which was the next day. So we're halfway through the week. We were in Magic Kingdom. It's about 9 o'clock at night. And we were told we had to get back on the bus before the bus left at this time. And in order to do that, again, I haven't been in Magic Kingdom in a long time. I think since senior year of high school, actually, when we went there. When you leave Magic Kingdom, you had to get on the ferry, and that is supposed to take us back to the bus. Now, Dan and Mike are with me, okay? And they knew what I was trying to do. We were trying to look for her so I could ask her, and we found out that she had already left. She already got back on the ferry and back on the bus, and everybody was getting back on the bus, and we lost track of the time, and we realized we had to get back on the ferry to make the bus. Now, the bus was never going to leave without us because they do a head count, but we have to get back on there because if we missed the ferry, we were going to have to wait another 30 minutes or so for the next one, and we didn't want to keep the bus waiting. So we're all the way on the other side of Magic Kingdom, so we had to run because we were running late, and we didn't want to miss the ferry. So Dan and Mike are ahead of me. I'm lagging behind. And what happened next, I didn't plan this. This just happened. And looking back on it, I don't know why we didn't put this in a heavy-duty episode. I wish we had. It never entered my head that we could have done an episode about this until just now. But too bad we never will. But so we're running to make the ferry to get back on the bus. And as we're running, I'm lagging behind. Now it's nighttime, okay? As I'm running, where the sidewalk meets the road, there's a curb. I missed the curb, and my foot went like this. With the crunch noise, I heard it. And then the next couple of seconds became, you know, like when you hurt yourself, and you're like, oh, I can walk it off, I can walk. No, I can't walk it off. Oh! It was like that. It was excruciatingly painful. I've never, ever broken bones in my body before. Never. It turns out it was a really, 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 really bad sprain. But I thought I broke my foot because I saw stars, you guys. I heard that crunch sound, and I couldn't even walk. If my foot touched the ground just a little, it hurt so bad. So I scream out to Mike and Dan. They can't hear me because, again, we're in Disney World. They're running. They realize I'm not with them. They turn around and come back, and we told management, call the EMT guys or something because I can't walk. And so we're sitting with the EMTs at the entrance of Magic Kingdom for at least an hour. And I can't walk. I can't do anything. I literally, it felt like, I felt like James Caan in Misery. Like, that's how bad it hurt. And I just remember sitting with the EMTs. And this was the challenging thing. So we're sitting with them for about an hour. We miss the ferry. The bus is waiting. Dan or Mike, somebody had to do this. They had to call one of our friends that was already on the bus so that person could tell the teacher why we weren't on the bus yet. And I think one of the I forget what it was like, but I was sitting there for at least an hour. I was just in so much pain. I forget what happened after that. But the thing that freaked me out the most was that This was in April. I had just turned 18 a month ago. So legally, I have an obligation on whether or not I want to go to the hospital. And I'm thinking, I don't have money to go to, I don't even know if my foot's broken or not. I don't know if it's broken. I don't know if it's badly sprained. I heard a crunch. I've never heard that before. I don't have money for the hospital. I'm out of state. My parents are sound asleep by now. What do I do? And on top of that, I'm in so much pain. And I'm like, what just happened? So finally, now the good news is this happened on a Thursday night. We were going back to Jersey on Saturday morning. So I'm like, okay, this isn't so bad. I mean, like, I'll probably be hobbled for a day or so that's not too bad. But the EMTs were asking me, they said, it's probably a bad sprain. If it was broken, you would be, doing that. But I really thought it was broken because I've sprained my ankle before, but I've never heard sound effects before. So after about an hour or so, they gave me a wheelchair. They were very nice about it. They gave me a wheelchair. They gave me complimentary crutches. I didn't ask for these things because how else was I getting out of here? I couldn't walk. So I'm in a wheelchair. I go back to, we get on the ferry. It's Dan, Mike, one of the teachers, and myself in a wheelchair. We get on the ferry. We get back to the bus. It's like 10:30 at this point. When I get on the bus, everybody gets up and they're cheering. Actually cheering. I think, okay, maybe they were just happy I was okay, but in hindsight I'm thinking, I think they're just happy that the bus can finally leave now because I was holding them up. So we get back to the hotel, and Mike, and I just want to say this about Mike, Mike Franz. Sweetest guy you will ever meet. He pushed me in the wheelchair all day the next day. Even on Saturday morning when we got to the airport, I didn't ask him to do that. He didn't have to do that. He wanted to do that. Sweetest guy ever. If I ever work with this guy again, I would do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't even think twice. Such a nice guy. And so he's wheeling me in the wheelchair. We get back to the hotel. We're in the lobby. And we get on the elevator. And he tells me, he goes, hey, why don't you ask her out now? I said, what? And he goes, she can't say no, you're in a wheelchair. And I thought, well, I better ask her now because if I don't, someone else is going to. So I'm in a wheelchair. He's wheeling me. We knock on the door. Her friend answers it. And I said, now her friend knew I was trying to ask her to the prom. And she goes, yes, Andrew. And I'm like, I'm not going to say her name. And I said, is she there? And she goes, 1 minute, leaves, comes back with her. Totally unexpected. She did not see this coming. Asked her to the prom. She looked me up and down in the wheelchair. And she says yes. And Mike wheels me up and down the hallway on a victory lap. And now again, it's like 11 o'clock, it's about 11 o'clock. Everyone's trying to go to sleep. And now we had the whole floor. The whole senior class had this floor. The guys open up the doors and are like, what's going on out there? And Mike's like, he just asked her to the prom. He did it. And I just go back to my hotel room and I'm laying down with my foot elevated with pillows and a bag of ice on it. And even that stung. But I was just laying in bed and I'm like, what just happened, man? That was so odd. So the guy that doesn't know how to do big outlandish things when asking a girl to the prom found one by accident. So that's the story. And it's funny, I remember thinking in my head when he was wheeling me up to her room, I just remember thinking in my head, she's never going to forget this. She's probably going to wind up telling her kids this story one day, okay? And again, it wasn't my intention I wasn't trying to guilt trip her or anything. This just happened, because I was trying to ask her out anyway, but I just happened to be in a wheelchair. But it was great, and prom was good too. Yeah, it was all right. It wasn't as memorable as that. That was the memory that I have from it. So that's one of many stories from high school. um, so yeah, that's that's a promposal story for you. I will see you guys on my channel and at the pier. Take care.